He walked slowly, making sure not to jostle you, moving toward the elevator. As the numbers climbed, he glanced down at your face again, so innocent. A strange warmth spread through his chest. The elevator door slid open, and he stepped into the dimly lit hallway, making his way to the suite, balancing you carefully. He entered the access code with one hand, the door unlocking with a soft click. The room was warm, its soft lighting casting a golden glow over the plush bed and elegant decor. The faint scent of fresh linens and subtle cologne lingered in the air, making it feel both luxurious and oddly comforting. He carried you inside, his footsteps light against the floor as he approached the bed. Jungkook lowered you onto the mattress with the utmost care, his movements slow and precise. But just as he was about to pull away, he realized his arm was stuck. Your weight had shifted, trapping his arm beneath you. He stared for a second, frozen in place, before exhaling a silent laugh. You had no idea what you were doing to him. You looked so small, so delicate, curled up like this. The rise and fall of your chest was steady, your lips slightly parted as you breathed. A smirk ghosted his lips as he watched you. You were unbelievably cute. His fingers twitched, an overwhelming urge rising within him. He wanted to run his thumb over your cheek, to press a soft kiss against your forehead, to trace the curve of your lips with his fingers. Hell, he wanted to bite your cheek out of impatience, cuteness, aggression at its peak. But instead, he stayed still, simply watching. And then, a thought crossed his mind. Jungkook, why are you not mine? His smirk faltered, his expression darkening slightly. The thought of you leaving him, of going back to Jack, made his chest tighten, in a way that was unfamiliar. No, that wasn't going to happen. Not in this life, not in any life. Jungkook's jaw clenched slightly before a slow, knowing smirk returned to his lips. His voice was barely above a whisper, but it carried a quiet, unwavering certainty. Jungkook, you're mine forever. And he meant every single word. The night stretched into silence, the air thick with warmth despite the cool hum of the hotel's air conditioning. It was nearly 2 a.m., an hour when the world outside had long since quieted. But inside this dimly lit hotel room, a restless energy lingered. Jungkook lay on the couch, his tall frame slightly curled as he tried to find comfort in the small space. Sleep had taken over, but it wasn't deep. His senses were still alert, as if he was waiting for something. And then it happened. A small, broken gasp. Something shifted on the bed. Jungkook's brows furrowed as his consciousness pulled him back to reality. Your breath hitched, and your body stirred against the sheets. Something was wrong. The suffocating weight in your chest made it hard to breathe, your heart pounding with sudden anxiety. Your eyes fluttered open, but the darkness swallowed everything, leaving only the unsettling feeling of being somewhere unfamiliar. It felt wrong. This wasn't home. Your stomach twisted uncomfortably. Where were you? Your fingers clutched at the sheets as your pulse quickened. Panic settled deep, a lump forming in your throat. Your voice barely made it past your lips, hoarse and uncertain. Yin, yeah, Jungkook. The hoarse sound of your voice sent a sharp jolt through Jungkook's body. His eyes snapped open instantly. In less than a second, he was up, his instincts kicking in. His gaze darted toward the bed, where he found you sitting straight on the bed, tense and distressed, your hands gripping the sheets like you were scared. Without a moment's hesitation, he reached for the lamp on the small table beside the couch. Turning it on, the golden glow illuminated the room just enough to cast away the shadows. The moment your eyes found his, something inside you settled. The second you recognized him, your body relaxed, relief flickering across your face. But the panic hadn't fully faded. Jungkook moved towards you immediately, his heart tightening at the sight of you looking so vulnerable. Jungkook, yes, I'm here, his deep voice murmured, warm and grounding. Are you okay? He was sitting beside you now, his hand instinctively reaching up to brush your damp hair away from your forehead, his fingertips cool against your heated skin. You exhaled shakily, but the discomfort was still there. Your body felt too hot, the material of your dress clinging to your skin, trapping the warmth. The sensation made your stomach churn, your fingers fumbling weakly with the buttons at the front of your dress. Yin, it's hot. You mumbled sleepily, your voice laced with exhaustion. Jungkook's breath hitched slightly, his dark eyes flickering down to your trembling hands, his jaw tensed. You were trying to undress in front of him, so out of it that you weren't even fully aware of what you were doing. A smirk almost tugged at his lips, but he quickly suppressed it. Instead of watching you struggle, He moved closer, gently pushing your hands away and helping you slip off the jacket like top of your dress. His fingers brushed against your bare shoulders for a brief second before he pulled back, leaving you in only your sleeveless top and tight skirt. But even that wasn't enough. You shifted uncomfortably, hands now moving to the waistband of your skirt, attempting to rid yourself of the restricting fabric. Jungkook's hands shot out, quickly wrapping around your wrists before you could go any further. Jungkook, wait, slow down, he murmured, his voice calm but firm. Your eyes fluttered open slightly, confused, as your breath came in soft pants. Jungkook sighed. Instead of letting you struggle, he leaned in, close to your skin, and then he blew, a gentle breath to cool you down. A sharp inhale left your lips. You shifted instinctively, your head tilting to the side, showing more sweat to him, seeking more of that relief. Jungkook watched your reaction, his expression surprising. Jungkook, I hear too, he teased, his voice light with amusement. Without waiting for a response, he leaned in slightly, close enough for you to feel the coolness of his breath. This time, he exhaled slowly, sending a gentle wave of relief over your collarbone. Your eyelashes fluttered, the tension in your body began to dissolve, your breathing finally slowing. Jungkook, better? He asked softly. You nodded weakly, too drained to respond properly. Your body swayed slightly, losing balance as sleep overtook you once again. Jungkook chuckled under his breath, shaking his head slightly. You were so damn adorable, still holding onto you. He carefully eased you back down onto the mattress, adjusting the blankets around you. His fingers lingered against your skin for a moment, longer than necessary, brushing stray strands of hair away from your face. But he wasn't done. Standing up, he walked over to the corner of the room, adjusting the settings on the air conditioning panel. The cool air filled the space instantly. When he turned back, he found you shifting under the blankets, and then, you did something that made his breath hitch. Still half asleep, you lazily lifted the hem of your top, letting the cool air wash over you. Jungkook let out a quiet chuckle, shaking his head. He hesitated for a second before slowly reaching out. His large palm hovered over your shoulder before he finally let it rest there, his touch light but comforting. He began patting you gently, a slow, rhythmic motion. His head rested on his other arm, his gaze lingering on your peaceful face as his own eyelids grew heavy. He kept patting you, watching over you, until sleep finally pulled him under too, his last thought lingering on how you looked so small, so soft, so his. The first rays of morning light came through the gaps in the heavy hotel curtains, casting a soft golden glow over the room. You felt warm, relaxed, more than you had in a long time. Your body stirred slightly, stretching against the plush mattress. A deep sigh left your lips, but then, something fell off. Your lashes fluttered open, and immediately, your body froze. Jungkook. Your gaze landed on the man beside you, or rather, half beside you and half on the floor. His upper body rested against the mattress, his head barely supported by the edge, while his lower half spread out on the floor. One arm was folded under his head like a makeshift pillow, and the other was loosely curled near his chest. His legs were bent in an uncomfortable position, his shirt slightly riding up to reveal the sculpted lines of his abdomen. Your brows furrowed. That position looked painful. He must be sore by now. Shifting carefully, you propped yourself up on your elbows and reached out, your fingers gently patting his shoulder. Hey, Jungkook, wake up. Your voice was soft, laced with sleep. Jungkook stirred, a deep inhale filling his lungs before his brows scrunched slightly. His lashes fluttered open, dark and heavy with drowsiness. His deep, hoarse morning voice barely registered as he mumbled, "Huh?" Still half asleep, he blinked a few times, his gaze slow to focus as he took in his surroundings. Then, he looked at you. Jungkook, oh, you're awake. His voice was still thick with sleep, his hand reaching up to rub at his eyes, fingers brushing against his cheek as he let out a lazy yawn. Something about him in that moment made you flustered, disheveled, vulnerable, completely adorable, made a small, amused smile creep onto your lips. Without thinking, your fingers gently moved forward. You reached out, smoothing down his messy hair, trying to fix the strands that had stuck up from his restless sleep. The second your fingertips brushed against his scalp, Jungkook's body froze, his breath caught, and for a brief moment, you thought he might pull away, but instead, he relaxed into your touch, his eyes half-lidded and a quiet sigh escaping his lips. Still rubbing his nose with one hand, his head tilted slightly, following your warmth, he let you do whatever you wanted. his body completely still, like he was afraid one wrong move would make you stop. Your fingers lingered, nails gently grazing his scalp as you combed through his soft strands. His lashes fluttered at the sensation. You didn't realize how close you were until you saw the faint pink dusting his ears. Something about the way he looked right now, half asleep, completely at your mercy, made something stir deep in your chest. It was only when you noticed his ears burning red that you abruptly pulled back, snapping yourself out of the moment. Jungkook remained still, like he was memorizing the feeling of your fingers in his hair. Then, his gaze lifted, and his face was completely flushed. Your lips parted in surprise. You made Jungkook blush. He quickly cleared his throat, looking away as if trying to regain his composure. Yin, W, what are we doing here? You finally asked, your voice confused as you folded your arms. Jungkook blinked, still looking a bit lost. His lips parted slightly, his tongue flicking out to wet them as he tried to find the right words. Jungkook, you fell asleep at the party, he muttered, rubbing the back of his neck. It was late. I didn't want to wake you, so I brought you here. He trailed off, his gaze flickering away. Your chest tightened for a brief moment. He brought you here. He let himself sleep in an uncomfortable position, half on the floor, just so you could rest properly. For some reason, that made warmth bloom in your chest. You exhaled softly and nodded. Yin, then let's go. Jungkook's head snapped up. Jungkook, huh? Yin, home, you said, stretching your arms. Let's go home. For some reason, your words made Jungkook's eyes soften. He didn't hesitate. Jungkook, yeah, he murmured, nodding immediately. Let's go. He got up, reaching out to help you up too, his fingers wrapping around yours with ease. The moment your skin touched his, you swore his thumb subtly, stroked the back of your hand before he let go. Neither of you spoke about it. After freshening up, you both left the hotel, stepping into the crisp morning air, and to your surprise, you didn't think about Jack. Not once, not even a little.